They were icons of beauty, talent, and secrets. In an era when Hollywood demanded perfection and punished truth, these five men shined on screen while hiding who they really were. Behind the charm, the tuxedos, and the smoldering looks were untold stories of forbidden love, silent loneliness, and quiet bravery. These are the five most handsome gay men of Golden Age Hollywood, and the masks they were forced to wear. Guy Madison, the cowboy with secrets in his smile. He looked like a hero carved out of marble, broad shoulders, square jaw, blue eyes that felt like home. But behind Guy Madison's all-American image was a man playing two roles, one on screen and one the world was never meant to see. Born Robert Ozell Mosley in 1922, Guy was never chasing fame. He studied animal husbandry, joined the Navy during World War II, but fate had a different script. A talent scout spotted him while he was visiting Hollywood, and just like that, he was reborn. With a new name and a clean-cut look, Guy Madison became every girl's dream and every studio's investment. He rose to fame fast, starring in Till the End of Time, then becoming the face of The Adventures of Wild Bill Hickok, a Western series that made him a household name. On the surface, he was the embodiment of rugged masculinity. But in private, Guy lived more cautiously than confidently. Behind that perfect cowboy image were whispers, quiet ones at first. Too close friendships with other handsome actors. Long weekends spent away from the Hollywood spotlight. His name kept showing up in the same sentences as Rory Calhoun, even Randolph Scott. But unlike some stars who were careless or flamboyant, Guy played it safe. He dated women publicly, married actress Gail Russell, and kept the mask on tight. But the truth lingers in the margins. Those who knew him say Guy was gentle, respectful, never loud, never reckless, just guarded. As fame faded in the late 50s, he chose a quieter life, moving to Europe for a time, acting in spaghetti westerns, then stepping away altogether. He died in 1996, far from the headlines, but still beloved by those who remembered his quiet charm. Guy Madison never said much, not to the press, not to the world. But in every close-up, every soft smile beneath that cowboy hat, there was a tenderness he couldn't quite hide. Maybe that was his way of telling the truth without saying a word. And while Guy hid his truth in the hush of the frontier, the next man built his entire life on illusion, a towering symbol of masculinity and the greatest secret Hollywood ever kept. Rock Hudson, the perfect illusion. He was the man every woman wanted, and the man every gay man recognized behind the mask. Rock Hudson didn't just play the romantic lead, he was the romantic lead. 6'4", broad-shouldered, impossibly handsome, he looked like the American dream in human form. But that dream was carefully built, constructed by studios, managed by agents, protected by lies. Born Roy Harold Scherer Jr. in Winnetka, Illinois, he grew up quiet, too sensitive for his rough surroundings. His father abandoned the family during the Great Depression, and Rock found refuge in fantasy. In cinema, in imagining a world where men like him could be safe and loved. He was discovered by notorious agent Henry Wilson, who gave him a new name, something solid, masculine, eternal, Rock Hudson. Wilson also gave him strict instructions: stay silent, date starlets, smile big. Hudson played the part to perfection. He starred opposite Doris Day, Jane Wyman, Elizabeth Taylor. His name became a guarantee at the box office, but his heart lived elsewhere. His real life, the one that mattered, happened in shadows. Quiet dinners with male lovers, late-night drives through West Hollywood, short romances that ended with guilt and fear. Even a brief marriage arranged for publicity couldn't shake the truth. He was a man in hiding, and the walls were closing in. Then came 1985. When Rock Hudson announced he had AIDS, the world froze. He was the first major celebrity to do so, and in that one revelation, he forced America to look into a mirror it had long avoided. It wasn't just a disease anymore. It was him, the symbol of perfection, the fantasy made flesh, and he was dying. His death later that year shocked the nation, but it also sparked a movement. Funding surged, awareness grew, the silence cracked. Rock Hudson didn't choose to be an icon for change, but when the curtain fell, he became something greater than any role he ever played. And yet, While rock wore his truth like armor in the end, there was one man who carried his pain like a raw nerve, an actor so fragile, so brilliant, the industry could never quite hold him. James Dean, the tragic prince of ambiguity. He wasn't just a rebel without a cause, he was a boy without a home, a man without a label, a legend born from longing. James Dean never belonged to any place, not really. Raised in Indiana after losing his mother at 9, he grew up with a hole in his chest that no spotlight could ever fill. He was too sensitive for the world around him, too intense, too quiet, too different. And he knew it. Acting wasn't his escape, it was his lifeline. He studied in New York, immersed himself in method drama, and chased raw emotion like it was oxygen. When Hollywood finally noticed, it couldn't look away. There was something electric about him. Dangerous, fragile, real. He wasn't the kind of leading man the studios were used to. He slouched, he mumbled, he wore pain like a second skin. In East of Eden, Rebel Without a Cause, and Giant, Dean didn't play roles, he bled them. And that vulnerability made him unforgettable. But behind that on-screen intensity were rumors, quiet, insistent, unshakable. He was close, too close, to older men like Rogers Brackett and William Bast. Friends, lovers, mentors, no one knew for sure. He dated actresses, Pier Angeli, Ursula Andress, but the romance never seemed to burn as bright as the whispers. Dean himself once said, "I'm not going through life with one hand tied behind my back." Maybe that was the closest he ever came to telling us. And then, he was gone. September 30th, 1955, a Porsche Spider. A young man with the world at his feet, and a death that felt more like a script than real life. He was 24, forever young, forever unsolved. James Dean didn't just live fast, he meant fast. And in dying, he became something Hollywood couldn't control. A myth, a mirror, a mystery we're still trying to solve. But while Dean burned out in a flash, the next man kept his fire hidden behind a wall of crafted perfection, a symbol of masculine power, built entirely on silence. Montgomery Clift, the beautiful broken soul, he wasn't just a star, he was a wound that shimmered on screen. Montgomery Clift came to Hollywood with the face of a Greek god and the soul of a man who never stopped hurting. He didn't smile to win over audiences. He didn't pose or perform, he exposed. In Red River, A Place in the Sun, and From Here to Eternity, he didn't just act, he felt his way through each role, letting the camera catch every flicker of fear, doubt, and longing in his eyes. He was unlike anything Hollywood had seen. Soft, where others were tough, inward, where others blazed. His vulnerability made him magnetic, but it also made him fragile. Beneath the surface was a man tormented by secrets. Clift was gay in a time when being out could end a career, or worse. He loved quietly, suffered privately, and built a wall between who he was and who the world demanded him to be. He found comfort in brief relationships with men who understood the silence. But he never spoke publicly. Never confirmed, never denied. Then in 1956, everything changed. After leaving Elizabeth Taylor's house one night, he crashed his car into a telephone pole, his face crushed, his spirit fractured. Taylor was the first to reach him, pulling shattered teeth from his throat so he wouldn't choke. Monty survived, but something inside him didn't. His beauty was altered, his confidence vanished. Though he continued to work, his performances carried new shadows, darker, lonelier, more haunted. His final years were spent in isolation, battling addiction, insomnia, and depression. He died in 1966 at the age of 45, alone, misunderstood, but unforgettable. Because what Clift gave us wasn't perfection, it was honesty, raw, unfiltered, courageous in its silence. He showed us that strength could live inside brokenness, and that some of the most beautiful souls never find peace. Cary Grant, the gentleman in the mirror. He was charm in a tuxedo, wit in a smile, danger behind a wink. To the world, Cary Grant was the perfect gentleman. Suave, graceful, untouchable. But behind the spotlight was a man built from reinvention. Born Archibald Leach in Bristol, England, his childhood was marked by loss, a missing father, an institutionalized mother. Hollywood offered more than fame. It offered escape, and he took it, turning himself into the man everyone desired but no one truly knew. From bringing up baby to North by Northwest, Grant became the symbol of elegance. But off-screen, he remained elusive. He married 5 times, none endured, and for years he shared a home with actor Randolph Scott. Studio press called them confirmed bachelors. But the intimacy in photos told a softer, quieter story. He never confirmed, never denied. He simply said, "Everyone wants to be Cary Grant. Even I want to be Cary Grant." A clever line, maybe a truth in disguise. In later life, he stepped back from fame, choosing privacy and fatherhood. He aged gracefully and mysteriously. Even in Passed Away, the real man remained just out of reach. Now that we've met 5 unforgettable men, Guy Madison, James Dean, Rock Hudson, Montgomery Clift, and Cary Grant, tell us, who left the biggest mark on your heart? Whose story stayed with you the longest? Drop a comment below. We're listening. Their stories were hidden for decades, but not anymore. If these 5 legends moved you, made you feel something, or helped you see Hollywood in a new light, don't let their truth fade again. Like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more untold stories, forgotten icons, and voices that deserve to be heard. Your support helps us keep the spotlight on the ones history tried to silence. This is just the beginning.